Hi, it's Paris from Epic Reviews, and if you are in need of a new printer, I have a good suggestion for you. It's this little guy right here. Actually, not so little. I know it looks kind of more like it belongs in the business office, but it is a great deal. The initial price isn't too high, but more importantly, the long-term price, the per-page price for ink, when you go out and buy their XL cartridges that let you get up to 2,300 pages of black print in one cartridge, one about $40 cartridge, it's a really good deal. They estimate it's about 2.2 cents per page, which is about as cheap as a laser printer. Now, I know you can go out and get a printer for $59, but it's really an open secret that the way the companies make their money is on the ink. That they'll practically give away a printer knowing that you've got to keep buying their ink, and they really charge you. In fact, someone calculated if you took printer ink and you emptied all the cartridges into a gallon container, you know, like a gallon of gasoline, gallon of milk, you had a gallon of ink, that gallon of ink would cost $60,000. So this particular model from HP is an anomaly in that they don't seem to be really trying to rip you off with the ink. They let you buy this really fat cartridge that's got quite a bit of ink in it, and it lasts and lasts and lasts. And I'll tell you a little bit about the story of why we decided to go with this, but let me just show you some of the things that it can do, what it has. It's a everything printer, which means it's a printer, scanner, copier, fax machine, does all of that. It has the flatbed scanner, has a document feeder, automatic document feeder. You can put up to 25 pages here and it'll pull them through one at a time to scan them or to copy them, so you don't have to stand there feeding one page at a time, you know, like if all you have is the flatbed scanner. But unlike if you only have the feed-based scanner, having a flatbed scanner means you can put in a book or something, which otherwise you wouldn't be able to scan with the pull-through system. It has a very generous paper tray. Let me see if I can show you in here. Actually holds half a ream, 250 pages, which is great because I hate having to put 50, 60 pages at a time of paper into the paper tray and constantly refill it. This one you can take a ream of paper, take half of it and stick it in there, last you until you need it, and see what that lets you do, which I haven't done here. What that lets you do is fold up and seal up your ream of paper so that you don't get any moisture in it. The number one cause of paper jams is that the paper, what's left after you open a ream and leave it open, it absorbs the moisture out of the air, especially when it's humid, like in the summer, and that paper with the added humidity is what tends to jam up. So ideally, once you take some paper out of a ream, you should fold it up and tape it and keep it like that. So anyway, it's handy if you can use a full half ream in the tray because you put half in, you tape this up, and when you need more, there goes the other half instead of dribs and drabs of paper, which is what lets it have all the paper jam problems. Okay, here on the front, let me show you on the back. We got this little guy sticking out here. What this is a duplexer. It allows you to print on both sides of a piece of paper. So, for example, if you have to print 50 pages of something, you want it double-sided, instead of running the 50 through, trying to figure out, do I flip it this way or this way to, you know, get the print on the other side, you just tell it 50 pages of duplex, and the page will come through. It comes part way out here, it sucks it back in and puts it through the other way to print on the other side. So that's a choice when you're printing. You can choose to do that. It's a rather higher end feature, so it's nice to have it on your basic printer here. This printer is a wireless printer, or you can run it wired, but basically it's a network printer. The advantages of having a network printer is everybody on the network can share the use of this printer. So if you have your laptop, you have your desktop, somebody in the family's got an iPad, somebody else has got an Android phone, you can all print to this. Not at the exact same time. If two people try to print at the same time, one person's print job has to wait till the other one's finished. But basically everybody can share this one printer. So that's what I was going to tell you, that how we ended up with these printers is I had a LaserJet. I pretty much only needed black and white copies, and I really liked the fact that it was cheap per page. The toner is pretty cheap. My wife needed color, so she had an inkjet printer. It was very expensive, especially when she did color or the kids had a school project and they needed to print in color. So we had these two printers, each one hooked up just to a computer. So if the kids needed to print a project in color, they had to get the file, email it to my wife. She had to get it, download it, open it up, and then print. Anyway, all of these steps. What we wanted was to take the benefits of the laser printer, which is basically that it's cheap per page, and the benefits of the inkjet, which is that it allows you to do color relatively inexpensively compared to a color laser, which tends to be real pricey. So we wanted the advantages of both, and we wanted everybody in the house to be able to print directly to the printer so we could all share it. And this is the solution we ended up with. And it turns out the pages, the black pages anyway, are about the same cost as the laser printer, but it can also do the color. Plus it's on the network, so everybody's able to print to it. So it's been a big boon for us to be able to simplify things and to get rid of extra pieces of hardware and just have this as our printer. Alright, got the printer turned on now. I don't know if you can notice, it's a touch screen. That's how you interact with it. It's got a number of menus you can go through to, if you want to copy, how many copies do you want? Do you want to enlarge it? Do you want to reduce it? Do you want it darker? Do you want it lighter? And so you do all of that through the touch screen here, and that's worked pretty well. Wanted to show you how fast it prints. I've just turned it on. Of course, it doesn't really need to warm up. It's not a laser printer, but I've got Google up on the screen here. I'm going to print wirelessly, which means the print job is going to go from my computer across the house to the router, and then it's going to be sent over here to the printer. So I just wanted to give you an idea of how fast printing will go through. I'm just going to click on the little printer icon, quick shortcut to print now, and we'll see what happens. We got noise. Pull the paper in. It's printing. There you go. That's how fast it'll print out a simple page. Now AirPrint is easy. If you've ever used that on an iPhone, it's real simple. You can print just about anything. ePrint, not as much. There's a few extra steps involved and you can't print quite as many things as you can with AirPrint, so good job to Apple for that. This supports AirPrint, works real well. But on my phone, which is an Android, I'm going to print out, I can't print out the Google page very easily, but let's say I want to print out a picture. So I go to the picture, I click on the little icon to share it. I choose to share it via HP ePrint Home and Biz, which is an app that you download. So I click on that one. And so it's now, it found, you have to configure it in advance with an email address. It's kind of a much more of a pain than the Apple AirPrint, let's just say that. You have to go in and register, and it's via the cloud that all this happens. But I'm going to tell it, go ahead and print my picture, because it will work, even though it's a little bit of a pain to configure. And it's sending. Now this print job is actually, I believe, going through the router out onto the internet, probably to HP's server, through them, back through the internet to my router, and then to the printer. So it takes a little bit longer. Plus it's a picture, so it's going to take longer than just printing the Google homepage. But this will also be a test of the color fidelity to see how well it can print in color. Though I don't think this is going to be a particularly high quality one, both because there may be some compression when you send it via their server, and I don't have any photo paper in here. It's just regular paper. There it is. Show you the picture on the phone versus what printed out here. There's the phone. Paper's still a little wet. And there's the picture that printed. Because this is a network printer, you can put it virtually anywhere in your house. You don't have to have it on the desk next to the computer. You don't even have to have it in the same room. If you've got a power outlet in the closet, you can stick it in the closet. When you go to print something, go get it out of the closet. So it's very handy in that way. You don't have to have it within cable's length of the computer. And what else can I show you? Changing out the cartridges, very easy. Haven't done it from the back before. Okay. That's the cartridge. The color ones are much smaller. The black one, I'll pop that out. Push it in, it's got a groove on the bottom, you slide it in. Push a little bit past flush, it clicks, that's it. Here's the black one. Much larger. It can fit a lot of ink in there. This is also a fax machine. It's got the plugs in back to connect it to the wall jack, and you can also use it as a pass-through to run it to a phone. Okay, to scan, you can either go to the printer, put your page in, select scan, and tell it to scan to the computer, Or you can go to the computer, open up the HP icon on the desktop, and then go there and say you want to scan, document, or photo. We will save it as a JPEG, leave all the presets. Just pulling the page through at the top, running it over the scanning lens. And it's now bringing it into the computer, and there it is. There's the Google page that I had printed out earlier, and there it is scanned in. And with that scanning feature being via the network, you can set up multiple computers on the network to scan, and you can either scan to them from this, or on the software on the computer you can pull the scan over. Very handy, very versatile. This has got to be, I think, it's been the best printer of 2012. I've recommended it to a number of my customers. I've set it up and installed it. People have been very pleased with it. And going into 2013, I don't see anything coming out that's any better. So this may well be the printer for 2013 as well. It's an HP OfficeJet 8600. This model is the Pro. It's the mid-range one. It goes for between $149 and $199. The list I think is $199, but it's often on sale for $149. They have a premium version of it that comes with 2 paper trays, so you can put in 250 sheets of one size of paper, 250 sheets of another size or type of paper. If you're in a real business environment or a home office environment, you might need that. It costs about $75 more, but for most people, most families, this is going to be the perfect size, and I think the perfect printer. Check out the links down below. You can see the current pricing on this, and you can also find out where to buy these XL cartridges that will make printing so cheap per page.